Truong My Lan, once a symbol of entrepreneurial success in Vietnam, is now a stark example of the consequences of unchecked ambition and greed. As the chairwoman of then Thinh Phat Group, she was a towering figure in Vietnam's booming real estate market. Her company developed some of the country's most luxurious hotels, residential complexes, and commercial properties, establishing her as one of the most influential business leaders in Vietnam's transition to a market economy. But beneath the surface of this success story lay an intricate web of fraud and deception that would eventually unravel. Over the course of a decade, Lan used her influence and control over Saigon Commercial Bank (SCB) to orchestrate one of the largest financial scandals in Vietnam's history. Between 2012 and 2022, she facilitated the issuance of over 2,500 fraudulent loans through a network of shell companies, embezzling an astonishing $12.5 billion. To put this into perspective, this amount is equivalent to nearly 3% of Vietnam's gross domestic product (GDP) in 2022. The scandal didn't stop there. Authorities later discovered that Lan's criminal activities extended into the bond market. She orchestrated fraudulent bond schemes involving 36,000 unsuspecting investors, siphoning an additional $18 billion. Moreover, her financial manipulations included the illegal transfer of $4.5 billion to international accounts, raising further concerns about regulatory oversight and systemic vulnerabilities in Vietnam's financial institutions. These crimes have left a devastating mark, not only on Lan's personal reputation, but also on Vietnam's financial ecosystem. The public, once optimistic about the rapid growth of Vietnam's economy, is now questioning the integrity of its banking and real estate sectors. Trust in the financial system has eroded, and investors both local and international are demanding stronger oversight and accountability. The court's verdict, a harsh sentence in the wake of the scandal, Truong My Lan faced the full force of the Vietnamese legal system. A court in Ho Chi Minh City handed her the death penalty, a stark reminder of Vietnam's tough stance on corruption and financial crime. Lan appealed the sentence, arguing for leniency. Her lawyers claimed that some assets had been returned and that efforts were underway to resolve disputes over property valuations, which had delayed further restitution.
The court, however, was unyielding. While it acknowledged the possibility of reducing her sentence to life in prison if she repaid at least $9 billion of the stolen funds, it emphasized the scale and impact of her crimes. The embezzlement and fraudulent schemes orchestrated by Lan not only destabilized Vietnam's banking sector but also undermined public confidence in the country's ability to regulate and oversee its financial markets. The severity of Lan's punishment reflects the Vietnamese government's broader anti-corruption agenda. In recent years, the government has intensified its efforts to root out corruption, targeting high-profile figures in both business and politics. The death penalty, though controversial, remains a legal consequence for severe crimes such as fraud and drug trafficking in Vietnam. Lan still has one last avenue for potential leniency: a presidential pardon. However, this option remains uncertain, and public sentiment suggests little sympathy for a figure who caused such widespread damage. The broader impact, lessons for Vietnam's economy case of Truong My Lan extends far beyond her personal downfall. It has exposed deep-seated issues within Vietnam's financial and regulatory systems. The use of SCB as a tool for fraudulent activities highlights weaknesses in banking oversight, while the bond schemes underscore the vulnerability of investors in an underregulated market. For the average Vietnamese citizen, the scandal has been a harsh wake-up call. The idea that one individual could manipulate financial institutions to this extent has shaken public trust. Depositors have grown wary, and small investors, many of whom were victims of Lan's schemes, are demanding justice. From an economic perspective, the impact has been significant. The scandal has disrupted operations at SCB, one of Vietnam's major banks, and raised questions about the stability of other financial institutions. Real estate, a key driver of Vietnam's economy, has also felt the ripple effects. Investors are more cautious, and developers face increased scrutiny, making it harder to secure funding for new projects. The Vietnamese government has responded with a renewed focus on anti-corruption measures. High-profile cases like Lan's are part of a larger effort to demonstrate that no one, regardless of their wealth or influence, is above the law. However, this approach has its challenges. The government must balance the need for accountability with the risk of scaring off foreign investors, who may see such cases as a sign of instability.
A warning for the future as rise and fall of Truong My Lan serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It underscores the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of robust financial oversight. For Vietnam, the case is a turning point, a moment to reflect on the vulnerabilities in its rapidly growing economy and take steps to address them. As Vietnam continues its journey toward becoming a major player in the global economy, cases like this highlight the need for transparency, accountability, and trust. The country has made significant strides in recent years, but scandals of this magnitude threaten to undermine its progress. For now, all eyes remain on Truong My Lan and the steps Vietnam will take to prevent such a crisis from happening again. Whether through stricter regulations, greater transparency, or improved enforcement, the lessons from this case must guide Vietnam's path forward. The stakes are high, but the opportunity for meaningful reform is within reach. The court's decision in Ho Chi Minh City, a court recently upheld Lan's death sentence. This decision comes despite her appeal to reduce the punishment. However, there's a small chance for leniency. If Lan repays at least $9 billion of the stolen money, her sentence could be reduced to life in prison. Her lawyers argue that some assets have already been returned, but disputes over property values have delayed further repayments. The court isn't convinced. This high-profile case has put Vietnam's justice system in the spotlight. It highlights the government's tough stance on corruption. In Vietnam, crimes like fraud and drug trafficking can lead to the death penalty. Lan still has the option to seek a presidential pardon, which could potentially save her life. Lan's actions didn't just impact her company, they disrupted Vietnam's entire banking sector. Thousands of investors were cheated, and the economy took a major hit. The scandal also exposed deep corruption in the banking and real estate industries. Vietnam has launched a larger anti-corruption campaign, targeting powerful figures in business and government. The goal is to restore trust in the system. However, this case has raised concerns among citizens and investors. Will tougher rules be enough to prevent another scandal like this? Lan's story is a warning of how unchecked power and greed can lead to massive consequences. The next steps will determine how Vietnam moves forward from this financial disaster. The downfall of Truong My Lan is more than a tale of personal greed, it's a profound wake-up call for Vietnam's financial sector. Her fraudulent schemes not only disrupted countless lives but also shook public trust in the country's banking and economic systems. The $12.5 billion scandal, coupled with fraudulent bond schemes and illegal transfers, exposed glaring vulnerabilities in Vietnam's financial oversight. As the nation moves forward, the lessons from this scandal emphasize the need for stronger accountability, transparency, and regulatory reforms. This case serves as a stark reminder that unchecked ambition and corruption can undermine entire economic frameworks, leaving long-lasting consequences for businesses, investors, and citizens alike. Vietnam now stands at a crossroads, with the responsibility to rebuild trust and implement stricter controls to prevent future financial crises. Lan's story is a cautionary tale for leaders and institutions around the globe, a reminder of the importance of ethical leadership and the devastating impact of systemic corruption. If this story captured your interest, don't miss out on more in-depth coverage of financial scandals, global business news, and market insights. Stay informed about the issues shaping economies and industries worldwide. Subscribe to our channel today and join a growing community of readers who are passionate about understanding the forces that drive our world. Click subscribe now to ensure you never miss a story that matters.